G'day, my friends, and welcome back to the Super Freak podcast. Before we dive in, let's just address the big old elephant in the room, and that is me. Yes, I sound like I've been punched in the nose. I'd like to think of today's voice as très nasal chic. Anyway, we're going to go with it. I want to talk to you today if you are someone who is experiencing 2025 like a great big shitstorm of fuckery. Pardon my French, my très French. You might be thinking, I really want to actually grow. I would like to improve my life. I'm ready to move on after the pandemic. I've got ideas, I've got dreams, but things feel like they're slowing down. It feels like the world is noisy. I want to grow. I want to build something beautiful. I want to invest in myself. I want to get going, but I am scared. I'm scared to spend. I'm scared to spend time, energy, money. I'm just afraid to kind of take a step forward. What if I'm wrong? I get it. And listen, I'm not actually here today to override that fear. But I do want to offer you something that might reframe the way that you see your value, especially if you are building a business or a life that depends on people trusting you. So you might be someone who is a business owner, but you also might be someone who is a leader or someone who is, you've got kids or you've got nieces and nephews or grandkids. Like it doesn't matter. If your life depends on people trusting you or you're building a life that depends on people trusting you, this is going to be really important. And I'm going to talk about it mostly from the context of business, but please know that I'm referring to leadership in general. Okay, so here's what I know. I know that in 2025, we live in a world now where AI is kind of like, we're not melded with it just yet, but it is so prevalent right now that in a good way, a lot of the heavy lifting is getting done. And in a not so good way, we're finding that it's really hard to know, A, what's real, and B, there's nothing really, it's actually not that hard to stand out because a lot of people are relying quite heavily on it while being busy and things just turn a little bit beige. I don't know if you'd agree with me, but that's how I feel. Anyway, in 2025, the most powerful strategy that you can have in your business, in your career, is not going to be having the loudest brand or the biggest audience or the fanciest funnel. It's going to be reputation, and more specifically, word of mouth. My friend, people are tired. They are overwhelmed. They're unsure of who to trust, and they're turning more and more than ever to the people that they already do trust, friends, family, mentors, your sister-in-law, for referrals. And that means that the best thing that you can do for your own business, leadership, career, I'm going to use the term business, you can use it whatever, but the best thing that you can do right now is to be someone people cannot wait to recommend. Let me tell you a little story. A family member of mine was recently speaking to a mortgage broker. Now, not because they were ready to buy, but because they wanted to understand kind of what was possible. And this broker, he spent 45 minutes on the phone with them for free, just giving of his time. 45 minutes out of an 8-hour workday, not selling, not rushing, not trying to get her to do something, knowing that she wasn't going to get the results that she wanted, just listening, offering advice, educating my family member about the market, giving honest insight and feedback. And even though he had to tell them that they couldn't quite afford what they were hoping for, he gave them ideas for long-term wealth creation like shares and strategies and market predictions. And at the end of the call, my family member said to him, "This has been so incredibly helpful and you have been so generous with your time. Can I please pay you? Can you please send me an invoice?" Do you know what he said? He said, "No. This is how I run my business. It's based on referrals. I know that when I show up and do good work with people, good things come back to me." My friends, mortgage broker, not some woo-woo manifestation guru, mortgage broker, because this shit works. You know how my family member found him? Through me. Do you know how I found him? I reached out to a person that I trust and I asked for the best. I didn't search online. I didn't compare 3 quotes. I didn't even look at his website. I trusted someone that I trust. Does that mean website is irrelevant? No, because I ended up looking at his website later to find out which one he was on the website. But it wasn't the first place I went. It was a backup. Okay. I trusted someone I trust first and foremost. That is going to be the thing that people lean more and more and more on in a world that is becoming less and less and less genuine. Now, I didn't go with any of the mortgage brokers that I've worked with in the past, not because they're bad people or they're not good at their jobs, but because if I'm really honest, when I spoke to them, every call felt rushed. Every piece of communication kind of felt rushed. The communication was just okay. Now, again, we are more and more pressed for time. And in a time where we're more and more pressed for time, this guy's giving more of his time. And that's what made me refer him. This guy, I felt seen. I felt cared for. I felt like he loved what he did and he really got a kick out of getting creative with me. And that is why he gets referred. And it got me thinking, this really is the future. It's how people are going to find connections, find people that they trust, find the things that they're happy to invest in. It's not right now like people don't have money to invest. They're just being so much more careful and diligent with where they spend their money. And rightfully so. It's not just the financial market. It's just not the financial landscape. It's the fact that people are becoming really attuned and smart and aware with what they want to do with their hard-earned dollars. So yeah, this is the future of business, not the post 3 times a day, optimize your bio, get your reel seen by the algorithm kind of business. Although yes, those things can still really, really, really help a business, but they are secondary. I'm talking about the kind of business that grows quietly and sustainably and with depth and that is still here in 2 decades, even when the market shifts, even when the whole world, the way that they work shifts, even when the whole landscape and economy and everything turns upside down, it's still here. It's the kind of business where someone says, no matter what's going on, especially when things are going wrong, you need to work with her. She changed my life. And the thing is, you don't get that kind of referral because you were interesting. You get it because you were interested. You get it because you listen. You get it because you serve. You get it because you are generous and skilled and real. And in a world full of noise, the people who are going to succeed sustainably, who are going to rise and continue to lead, are the ones who know how to connect. Not just talk, not just perform, not just follow a strategy, but genuinely connect, to read the room, to read between the lines, to stay present under pressure, to have conversations that shift something in another person. That's what I mean when I say this is about doing good work. Work that leaves people better than you found them, no matter whether they are ready and willing to pay you or not, no matter whether you think they can afford you or not. This is why I don't just teach marketing. I teach genuine influence, like high integrity influence. I teach regulation. I teach communication. I teach people to be present, because in the end, if you want your business to be referral worthy, it's not about how you show up online. It's about how you show up when you think no one's watching. It's about how you show up when you think this person probably can't afford to do this work with me. It's about how you show up when you think you're not going to get something out of the situation. It's really sad, but it's true. That's what actually creates reputation. That's what builds a brand people can trust, whether that's a business brand or your personal brand. And, it's also what helps you sleep at night too. So this is exactly why I have chosen to teach NLP, why I've sort of pivoted my career over the years and started to actually teach this skill to other humans. Not because I thought, I want to be a coach, and not because I wanted to teach coaches how to coach better, though that's a really fun thing to do. But because I was actually a martial artist trying to make it through university. I was studying to be an interior architect, and I just wanted to be better. I wanted to focus more. I wanted to recover faster. I wanted to communicate better, to win more matches. I wanted to stop being so emotional over the breakup that I was going through, But what I learned in that skill, it actually changed my relationships. It changed how I handled pressure. It changed how I listened. and then how I was listened to. And I was 22. It gave me the tools to become the most interested person in the room, not the most interesting. And when I did eventually become a coach, I kind of landed myself in this career. It was not hard to get clients because people could really feel that I was interested. They could feel something. They felt safe to just be themselves. And it wasn't because I was trying to impress. It wasn't because I was special. I wasn't using gimmicks. I just knew how to hold space because I learned how to. I learned how to ask better questions. I learned how to listen beneath the words and to hear what someone is not actively saying, but they are saying. And when people feel seen like that and understood, they tell other people about you. That's what grows your business. You do not need, though, to be a coach to benefit from this skill set. So I'm going to switch it up here for a second. If you're a creative, if you're a leader, a business owner, or simply someone who just wants to build a life that feels really, really freaking good and aligned, this is the skill set that gives you an edge. It's how you navigate hard conversations at work without spiraling. It's how you lead your team through big changes, scary changes, without losing yourself and without freaking them out. It's how you show up in a sales conversation with presence instead of pressure. It's how you ask for a pay rise during an embargo on pay rises in the middle of a pandemic. It's how you advocate for yourself in negotiations. You set powerful boundaries with grace, or you walk into a room and you actually know how to build trust with whoever's in there, no matter how high up or down the rung of authority you happen to be in that room. This is influence. Not the performative kind, but the kind that makes people remember you, the kind that changes relationships, that lands you opportunities, that creates a ripple effect, even when no one's watching. It's the kind of influence that means that you show up with compassion and empathy where others would show up with maybe a little bit more sass and anger. It's how a parent responds to a child's big emotions without shutting down or getting triggered. It's how a woman walks into a difficult conversation with clarity and grace. And it actually shifts the dynamic, not just in the room, but it shifts the way people can perceive leadership for good when they see an example of someone doing this. And if, by the way, you are a coach, and you're feeling imposter syndrome, because I know a lot of coaches suffer from this. They'll go through these great coach trainings and they're really loaded up with tools for the actual process of coaching and understanding it. But they often feel like they're not confident. If somebody were to come in with, say, a belief problem, they're like, oh, I don't actually have a tool to kind of help them overcome that. I can just coach them with holding them accountable to taking new actions and stuff like that. So that feeling of imposter syndrome, or really kind of a worry that someone's going to come with something that you couldn't actually help them with, or sometimes it's a fear of visibility, or sometimes it's a case of you're actually really great at the visibility part, but when it comes to the sessions, like you feel kind of shaky. This is how you build actual confidence. It's not performative confidence. It's genuinely earned confidence, because you know what to do when a client maybe becomes upset, or how to spot when they're on the edge of a breakthrough, or when to kind of pause and when to press. You know how to help someone shift something real for the long term. It's not, again, performative results where people get results in a program with you, but they need to rely on you for the future results, or they're great results, but they're not life-changing results because you were dealing with the wrong problem in the first place. You didn't do that work to kind of listen beneath the surface. It's about knowing how to hold the weight of someone's transformation with integrity and presence, and oftentimes too, patience and humor. And that makes you absolutely unforgettable. So if you're sitting in that place right now, like, I want to grow, but I don't know how to, I am feeling a little bit scared, I'm worried about robots taking over the world, I don't know how to stand out, I want to offer you this. There are moments in your life and business where tightening your belt makes sense, especially if you are scared to invest in yourself at this point. High performers are never not investing in themselves. When it's time to tighten the belt, that's not on the list of things that get tightened. In fact, they often will double down on their support team and investment in that regard, because when the times get tough, the high performers know they're going to need as much of an edge as they possibly can get. So investing doesn't change. It's just they often double down. So there are moments in your life where the tightening of the belt, it really does make sense. And there are moments where the most strategic thing that you can do is to get better at what you do, to become more effective, to become more attuned, more emotionally regulated, more impactful. And that is what Be Your Own Coach is about. It's not a hype program. It's not about fixing you. It's about handing you the skill set that helps you meet any moment calmly, clearly, and powerfully. The tools inside this program have helped people create new income streams, hold space for their kids during meltdowns, create new jobs, navigate breakups with grace, sign clients with ease, shift lifelong patterns, and stay grounded while making huge, bold, scary moves. And I personally use them every day, not just as a coach, but as a human, a business owner, a friend, a woman rebuilding her life from the inside out. So I want to invite you, if you feel the pull, come and join us. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to feel like you want to be anchored to something. I really, really love to have you. We are kicking off at the end of May, and you can find out all the details at hayleycarr.tv/NLP-training. I'll add the link in the show notes for you. You'll find it there. But even if now is not your time, because I don't want this to be a segue about that, please let this be your reminder. You do not need to shout to be remembered or seen. Please, my friend, just do remarkable work. Be generous and let who you are be the reason people talk about you when you're not in the room, in a good way. So I hope this has left you with something to really think about today. It does not need to be difficult. It does not need to be more complex. It's actually simpler than ever. It hasn't really changed. It's just more obvious than ever in 2025. So my friends, stay curious, stay open. The life you crave is so much closer than you think. And I will see you next time. Ciao for now.